Spurs a much-needed win for Angie's men, Stevie.
Yeah, big time. I mean, they really are down to the bare bones. They had a bunch of kids as backup. But they deserved it in the end. You know, it took Hoffenheim till the second half to get going. Tottenham looked really comfortable in the first half. Obviously, they scored. And Heung-min Son getting that third goal really was the clincher. Because, as I said, when that first goal for Hoffenheim went in, they really were on top at that time. And so that Son goal took the pressure off. But, again, typical Tottenham, they couldn't see it out without any pressure. They lose a goal with 2 minutes of normal time to go, and it's kind of panic stations right until the final whistle. But all that matters is they won the game, and we can go home with a smile on the face. Yeah,
rode the luck tonight, did Spurs?
Yeah, much like the outcome of the Manchester United game, I think you feel positive about the experience of your Spurs, but not exactly emboldened by it. Let's not forget, just for a little bit of context, so people may not know this, Andrej Kramaric described his team about 10 days ago or so as big manure. And when I say manure, he said something different.
Yes, he did.
And he doubled down on it and referred again to his team as, well, they're not very good, essentially. You get the message. And so you get the idea that Hoffenheim, they're not very good. Their superstar doesn't believe they're very good, that the whole environment at Hoffenheim is very negative, haven't been playing well in Bundesliga, haven't been getting results. And so this is a game that if you're Spurs and you go back to last weekend and you look potentially for the next 10 days, you were going to play this match against Hoffenheim, Leicester, and Elfsborg coming up next week. It's 3 games that should be winnable for Spurs. So if you want to build momentum, if you want to manufacture some positive energy, if you want to grasp to something that you can hang on to and say, you know what, this is where we build, this is where we start moving forward, this would be the 10-day period to do so against Hoffenheim, Leicester, and Elfsborg. These are 3 games that they should be able to win.
You know, you asked me earlier about Man United. Will that give them a boost there winning? I said no. This would be the opposite for Tottenham. Going away from home in the Europa League, dominating the first half in particular, winning the game, they absolutely will go home with a good feeling.
They're 15th, as you can see here, in the Premier League table, and Ali just listed out some of the games that they've got coming up, which would be a chance to get some of those good results under their belt. Let's take a look at those games. Obviously, Leicester City, 7 straight losses for them in the Premier League. As Ali mentioned, Elfsborg. Then they're away to Brentford before that trip to take on Liverpool in the second leg of the Carabao Cup. I suppose it would be nice to be able to build up to that second leg with those games that are in between, Mark. You would hope, Ange Postecoglou will be hoping, as Ali said, that is where they will build some momentum.
They need to build some momentum, don't they? Because that is a tough run of games after this next 2 or 3, or certainly Leicester and Elfsborg. But, I mean, the situation right now is, I don't know if you realise, but Ange said after the game that Dominic Solanke's out for 6 weeks. He's done his knee in training, so they're without their best striker for 6 weeks. Richarlison's struggling as well, so they haven't got a striker. So just when they get a real kind of confidence boost, they lose their main striker for 6 weeks. And I think they can maybe kind of, you know, stumble through the next couple of games. But I think to take on the likes of Liverpool and Aston Villa in the Cup the following game without Dominic Solanke, that is a real problem for Tottenham. And they've got so many injuries, and it's really hard to see where they can get a way out of this. And I think, you know, the Europa League might be the salvation, because you look at the teams in that, there's no Champions League dropouts in the Champions League this year, so it's what you see is what you get in that table. You know, Lazio are top, you've got Bilbao, you've got Eintracht Frankfurt ahead of them. I mean, these teams aren't the best teams in the world, so if Spurs or even Man United can get a bit of run of form at some point in the second half of the season, they could win the Europa League and get in the Champions League. So at some point, Spurs or Ange might think, you know, we have to really focus on the Europa League, because that is the way to get ourselves out of the mess we're in.